Hello, welcome to today's English class. Today's topic is clause. What is a clause? A clause may be described as a group of words which expresses an idea. It may contain elements such as subject, predicate, complement, or adjunct. So, the subject is the performer of the action. The predicate is the verb or verb phrase that expresses the action. The complement tells us more about the subject or predicate. Okay, let us look at the example of a clause. E.g., we have James won the election. Okay, can you see that? James won the election. James here is our subject, won is our predicate, and the election is our complement. We can also refer to it traditionally as our object. Do we understand? Okay, there are two major types of clause. Okay, that is types of clause. The first one is independence clause, and the second one is dependence clause. Now, independence clause. What is independence clause? Independence clause may be described as a group of words that expresses a complete thought or idea. That is, it can stand alone. To make a complete sentence, it can stand alone. Okay, let us look at examples of sentence that falls under independence clause. Okay, let us look at examples of sentence that falls under independence clause that express a complete thought. Okay, we have, for instance, we have number one, we have Frank cuts the ball. Can we see that? You can see we have our subjects, we have our predicates, and we have our complement. We can also say William kicked the ball. Okay, we can also say Mary can not drive a car, or we say Mary owns a car. You can see that. See, with this these are examples of independent clause, and we can join two independent clause together with a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction like example like and, but, or etc. We can join this sentence together with either of this. For instance, we can say we can say William kicked the ball. Can you see that? And Frank cuts it. Do we get? You can see we've joined two independent clause together. That is that on independent clause. Now let us look at dependent clause. Dependent clause. What is dependent clause? Dependence clause. What is dependent clause? Dependent clause may be described as a group of words that expresses an idea which is not able to stand alone as a sentence. Can we get that? Okay. Now, dependent clause from the word dependent needs to rely on something for it to have its full meaning, and mostly it depends on the independent clause. The independent clause can also be referred to as what? As the main clause. Don't forget, as the main clause. Now, dependent clause is usually introduced by subordinate conjunction. When we say subordinate conjunction like because. Can we see that? Because, when, since, although, as soon, as, who, which, where, okay, that, if, so, etc. These are examples of some of subordinate conjunction. Now let us look at examples of dependent clause. I said it will need to rely on independent clause for it to have its full meaning. Okay, now let us look at examples. For instance, we have James ate the food because he was hungry. Can we see that? Full stop. Because he was hungry here is our dependent clause. Because he was hungry. You can see that we have a subordinate conjunction here. Now, let us look at another example. Mary, let me start from here. Mary went home when it was raining. The subordinate conjunction here is when. So from here, this is our dependent clause. I hope we understand. Dependent clause can also be referred to as subordinate clause, and it has its own types too, which will be the next topic. That is what we are going to treat in our next topic. I hope you are able to get one or two things from the explanation we have on clause today. Thanks for joining the class. Do have a lovely day. Bye.